All right, there we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Questionable Authority, a multiple time a week Twitch stream where the puppy comes in when I say that and got confused because I started swearing at the screen. Uh, Audio is on. Yes, who's my good girl? Did you miss me while I was gone? Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Uh, how's everybody doing? My name's Mike. I'm a lawyer, and I'm not your lawyer. I am, however, your streamer. We're here today to talk about law, legal things, mostly in the realm of tech, not necessarily exclusively in the realm of tech, but pretty much in the realm of tech. How's everybody doing? Let's see. Bad takes belong to me. I don't represent you unless I do, and if I do, we've talked about it. And, her. Anything else I'm missing? Bad takes belong to me. Not your lawyer. I think we got the key bits, right? So how's everybody's new year going so far? Mine too. Notice that I stuck that in, however you're answering the question. It's just one of those, ain't it? Alright, so I am, as some of you may know, just back from a trip to Japan where I enjoyed myself a great deal. I'm also in the middle of a move, so it's going to make it a little bit challenging to do some of what I want to do with the stream, including show off some of the. Okay, look, I'm just going to cut to the chase with the whole Japan trip thing. I had a hell of a lot of fun getting little things out of, little toy capsules. A lot of little toy capsules. Ace of Fire. I can't answer the best Kit Kat flavor question. You know why? I can't answer the Kit Kat question because while I bought all of the Kit Kats, like all of the Kit Kats, I was buying all of the Kit Kats in quantities greater than 5,000 yen a time. So they all wound up in, sealed, tax-free, do not open before you leave the country kind of stuff. And I'm trying to be good. And I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be good this year in a way that makes more of me by making less of me. So I've also been rationing myself to no more than one Kit Kat per day. Yes, this is very, very, very hard. So what I can tell you so far on the Kit Kat front, since I only started to eat the Kit Kats after we got back, one, the matcha Kit Kats are good. The matcha Kit Kats are very good. The wasabi Kit Kats were actually surprisingly disappointing. They sort of taste like what wasabi would taste like if wasabi wasn't very spicy. And that is... yeah, that's just a little disappointing to me. I was expecting to eat a Kit Kat and have my mouth, explode. And it's just kind of a taste that's there. It's almost sort of overwhelmed by the white chocolate taste. What's another one that I've tried? The lemon I love. The lemon I absolutely love. Which just leaves us with what? Milk tea. Milk tea Kit Kats, find them, eat them. So good. I think I'll try sake today. I'm not yet saving wrappers, but that's, a thought. I've still got plenty left. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I had actual Japanese wasabi on this trip. I'm saying this is even less spicy than that. But the milk tea Kit Kats are amazing. We were traveling on our own with our two kids, not part of any organized group. Um, did not try that while I was gone, Callie. So let me see. Anything else of note? Um, Japanese temples are and shrines are absolutely amazing. And, you know, I took it relatively seriously. And this one I'm keeping, and if I ever go back, I'll continue to add to it. Um, I did not see beer and cigarette vending machines in the airport, but that doesn't mean they weren't there. It was winter. I got many hot drinks from vending machines. On Gotcha Toys, what I tried to do, and I'll try to show these off one at a time for the next few weeks. I didn't get too many of them. I went for what is the oddest thing I can get from one of these capsule toy machines. So let's see, what's our contender today? Let's go with. Let's actually go with this one. And it's going to be a two-parter. I didn't get souvenir coins you can stamp info from. There was and you have to assemble them, series of 1/12 scale sports wheelchairs, where it's just the wheelchair, not anybody who goes in it, and the randomness is color, not sport. I have separate ones from separate machines for basketball wheelchair and not yet assembled, but I think it's actually the capsule that I showed off. Yep. This one is 1/12 scale racing chair. So, I mean, it's cool, it's amazing, and yet it's a little bit odd. It's not a thing you expect to find. I'll have other of my favorite things to show you. Anyway, questions about the law. If it's too close into politics, and most of what you're likely to ask is probably going to be too close into politics for what I'm covering at the screen anymore. Go for it while I'm pulling up the WordPress files. I will say I did blow a call today on something that was more on the political front. I thought that the TRO motion was likely to be in the birthright citizenship case was likely to be denied on technical grounds. Fairly happy to have blown that call, honestly. I did not think that a thing was likely, primarily, that a TRO was likely, primarily just because, primarily just because you don't really need a TRO if you've got plenty of time to do a preliminary injunction motion before the thing goes into effect. But who knows? Maybe the wheelchairs are a holdover from the Paralympics. That's a thought. I only saw them in a couple of places, so that is possible. All right. So let's see. What are we going to look at with regard to WordPress? Also, it's probably too late to get him, but let me ping Boozy. Totally forgot to ping Boozy. And if not, we can get Boozy to show up on a different stream and weigh in, because, oh my god, I really, really want to, I so very want to describe this case to a lawyer who hasn't been paying attention at some point. The WordPress case, for those of you who are not previously familiar, which is the main topic we're covering today, is a thing that happened because the guy who created WordPress and runs Automatic, which is one of the major companies, by far the only company making money from WordPress, was also the head of the WordPress Foundation, an entity that everybody thought ran and maintained the WordPress.org website, which is the repository for the software, which is an open source project, and references, because it's the repository for the software, because everybody thought that it was nonprofit run, is also, what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm losing the thread already because it's just so crazy. They hard coded that repository into the software like a gajillion times, 1,500 or some crazy number like that. And then it turns out that, in fact, no, it's not actually owned by the nonprofit. The guy who invented WordPress never actually got around to transferring ownership to the product to the nonprofit, which he's on the board of, and is now claiming to be the sole personal owner of that repository, and the only person who gets the right to control who has access to it. We found all of this out when he decided to go nuts at a different commercial vendor that does WordPress stuff, WordPress Engine, kicking them off the island and out of the WordPress community because he didn't like how much they were contributing to the open source side of things. Well, that's his version anyway. WordPress Engine's version, which is, unlike his version, matched by copious receipts and public statements, most of them made by Matt Mullenweg, the founder of WordPress, in public where everybody could see him. Their version of the story, matched, as I said, by those receipts, is that he actually tried to extort them for a ludicrous percentage of their annual gross income in exchange for a trademark license to use the WordPress name, continue to use the WordPress name in offering their services. By the way, the trademarks for WordPress were transferred to the nonprofit. That actually did happen, only he didn't tell anybody that the nonprofit had transferred back an exclusive commercial license to his commercial enterprise. Way too much was what he was asking for of their annual income. Litigation then ensued. A preliminary injunction is in place. Oh, they were contributing too little. Yeah, sorry. They were contributing too little to the project. He was contributing too much. He hit them up for too much. Guys, I'm still a little jet lagged. Okay, it's it's a 5-hour time difference for me. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. But yeah, basically 8% of your gross revenue for the right to do things that you probably had the right to legally do anyway. A preliminary injunction is now in place. And that preliminary injunction prevents him from continuing to try to actively harm WordPress Engine while they continue to litigate against them. However, does anybody know, are we still on our holiday pause? Because he decided to take a holiday pause from allowing new signups at WordPress.org for everybody except WP Engine. Because of course he did. Because he was tired of providing personal resources, etc. I do not know whether or not we are out of that yet. He did end the pause, we believe. Okay. However, while he may have ended the pause, he also has now pulled the WordPress credentials from people who are who have been threatening to fork WordPress. under the guise of kicking them out of our community should help them fork the project. I ain't an engineer. I got a feeling that forking the project would have been a lot easier if they had access to, the project. But, anyway, all of that's going on. Oh, and notably some of those people, weren't actually threatening to fork. Matt just made things up. But they've been kicked off the island regardless. They have not intervened in this lawsuit yet. However, some rando has. On review and reflection, I'm going to I don't know whether we should look at the motion to intervene or not, honestly. Let's look at the opposition to the motion to dismiss that just came in. WordPress did file a motion to dismiss. That was what we looked at some on the last stream. Let's look at the response to that first. And after we're done looking at the response to that, we'll see if there's time to... Oh, you're here, Boozy. Boozy, how much of my backgrounder did you catch? Because if you only just got here, do you want to drop in the chat and I will give you the more full version? And when I say drop in the chat, I mean drop in the Discord channel. You were here for absolutely none of it. Okay, stream, we're going to repeat that. And, Boozy, you want to drop into the chat and let's see there. I don't know if we need you on camera for this one, Boozy, but I appreciate the effort. But yeah, drop in the voice chat, man. You remember where it is, right? Of course, there's always the question of finding it in the list of 98,000 Discord servers at this point in time. But yes, let's do the full version. Boozy, you're here. Can you say something? Okay, you can say something and I can't hear you yet, so give me a second. Sorry, guys, I had to do software updates and that resets absolutely fucking everything. Every time. Where the hell are settings on Discord? There's settings. Voice and video. My output device is hopefully that. Try saying something again, Boozy, please. Boozy, just keep swearing at my thing until we hear you. How's that?
My shit.
Got it. Hey, now I can hear you. Okay. You can stop.
I swear to God, I said the word shit and it started working.
Yes, it did. That was exactly what we needed, Boozy. That was perfect. Thank you very much. Guys, I'm going to introduce Boozy Badger to you. Boozy is a lawyer in Pennsylvania. He has his own stream, and we can pitch that in the chat. I don't have the link handy.
Mike, I'm going to correct you. I am not simply a lawyer in Pennsylvania. I am the Commonwealth.
Yes, indeed. Boozy is the Commonwealth. This is gonna be fun, Boozy. You're gonna love what this guy did. All right.
Oh God.
So when you were setting your blog up a week or two ago, and people were like, "Yeah, maybe you don't want to use WordPress anymore."
Yeah, that'd be great. Except everybody's overestimating my interest in security versus how cheap I am.
Yeah, the problem isn't on security on this one, Boozy. The problem is WordPress may not be WordPress for much longer.
Oh.
So
did Elon buy that too?
No. It's so it was created by this guy Matt Mullenweg.
Okay.
His name is Matt, and that is why Automatic has 2 T's in it. All those calls to Automatic for ads and stuff like that.
Okay, but Mike, it's not going to be surprising to you, but I never noticed that.
Okay. I didn't put 2 and 2 together on that until this case happened, so I'm not...
Oh, no, I just never noticed there were 2 T's. I mean,
Gotcha. Fair enough.
You give me a lot of credit for paying attention to that shit.
Fair enough. All right, anyway, backstory. Matt Mullenweg creates WordPress, but he creates WordPress based in part on something that's already under, public licenses. So he's basically winds up having to make WordPress an open source project. And so yeah, co-creates might be a better thing. He, like, way back, and I mean more than a decade ago, when the community is starting to get a little bit antsy about ownership and management of WordPress and everything like that, he goes, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to create the WordPress Foundation, which is going to be a nonprofit, and the WordPress Foundation is going to be the one who owns all the trademarks. Great idea. And because it was WordPress Foundation, WordPress.org, everybody thought was the Foundation's website. So for the past 10 or 12 years, everybody who contributes to this open source project, all of their stuff goes into repositories that you access through WordPress.org. The WordPress software has like 1,500 hard-coded references to WordPress.org built into it. And fast forward to this year, when all hell breaks loose. Late this summer, Matt decides that his company, Automatic, which is a for-profit company, has been contributing way too much compared to everybody else to the public, to the public Creative Commons part of the project. And other companies making money haven't been contributing enough, like this company, WordPress Engine. Seems reasonable, right? I mean, if you're contributing like, 10,000 hours a year of staff time to the nonprofit and they're contributing 40 hours a week, you might go, well, there's an imbalance there. Maybe we should fix it.
All right. Now, what was his method of fixing it, to demand everybody else come in, or was it, I own this now?
Well, it started by him calling and texting the WP Engine people.
Okay.
And demanding 8% of their annual gross for a trademark license.
Uh-huh.
Because, remember when I said that the trademarks went to the foundation?
Yep.
They did. But he didn't tell anybody. He had the foundation do an exclusive, perpetual, sub-licensable commercial license back to Automatic.
Uh-huh.
And didn't tell anybody about this. So the whole time that the whole time this is going on, he's, they made statements like, the trademarks are going to be everybody's forever for free, nobody, etc. And it turns out that there was a little asterisk there that was like, except for commercial uses, because at some point my company can come after you and demand that you sub-license from us. 8% of total gross revenue being kind of a lot. WordPress Engine tells him to go pound sand. He's like, well, are you sure you want me to do that? Because I'm getting ready to do a keynote address, and if you don't pay me up, I'm going to trash your company at the keynote address.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, did that too. So they still tell him to pound sand. So sure enough, he goes out there and he totally trashes their foundation, their company, at a keynote address. Refers to them, in fact, he says that what they are distributing is a chopped up, mangled version of WordPress and not really WordPress. This is part of, he also said, yes, they was declared basically going nuclear on them. From a lawyer's perspective, Boozy, are we seeing any potential issues with any of this conduct yet?
Oh, no, it's all fine.
Completely fine, right?
Everything's okay. Yeah, there's not multiple problems. I love the it's owned by the nonprofit, which is now sub-licensing it back all to my company. I'm assuming he sat on the board of the nonprofit as well.
Well, actually, he may, if for all intents and purposes, be the board of the nonprofit. Nobody's like,
so he's self-dealing.
Oh, God, yeah.
And engaging in annulments, which is going to get the nonprofit status yanked if anybody ever looks into it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's. I mean, Mike, before I was the Commonwealth,
Mm-hmm.
You're very aware. I was a shit lawyer, and one of the things I did as a shit lawyer was help people form nonprofits. And
Uh-huh.
a thing I frequently had to say was, "No, you can't use your church's recording studio for your rap album."
Yep. Yep. That would be a problem. That would
So
be a potential problem.
let's see. I'm assuming there's disparagement somewhere in here for the anti-competitive nature of his speech.
There's a lot of causes of action going right now.
Yeah.
Because when they filed the declaratory judgment action,
Mhm.
WordPress engine wasn't screwing around. They engaged Quinn Emanuel,
Oh.
right?
Oh.
But it
they,
get, but it gets
they
better.
got serious.
But it gets better. Guess who Matt Mullenweg engaged?
I swear to God. Do we know them, Mike? That's my first question.
Okay, it's nobody we well. Does the name Neil Katyal ring a bell?
Yes, it does.
That's who he engaged, the single most expensive lawyer in the country.
Yeah.
Now, I'm asking you, Boozy, when you think complex commercial litigation at the trial court level, is
Uh-huh.
the first person whose name that comes to your mind the most expensive lawyer in the country who is purely an appellate lawyer? And
Absolutely not.
right, why would it?
Absolutely not.
Y-
Well, first of all, as you just pointed out, it's an appellate lawyer, and secondly, you may want somebody who actually has dealt with the complex issues present in the business litigation.
Little
Uh,
ones, yeah.
I mean that's important. Probably going to want somebody with at least some trademark litigation experience.
Oh, hell yeah. Because
Uh,
one of the causes of action comes as no surprise to you, I'm sure, in the declaratory judgment action is a non infringement.
yep.
And yeah, there's a defamation claim in there. Because, it turns out that when he said that they were they were doing a whole, mangled, mixed up, chopped up, or whatever version of WordPress.
Yeah.
Yeah, guess what he was basing that on? He
Um,
he's trying to claim opinion based on disclosed fact, by the way.
oh, he's saying it's disclosed fact.
Yes, because of the disclosed fact that there is a setting for basically how many versions do we store back and stuff
Yeah.
that they switch to off by default for their installs.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that at all.
That's the entirety of how they've mangled and chopped up and changed the software so it's not really WordPress anymore.
You see, here I thought we were going to go with one of those god awful themes that I can't figure out.
Yeah, no, nope. It's just completely. They switch a toggle switch which is built into the software to the off position.
Well, obviously, nobody could ever fix that.
I mean, to be fair, if you want that fixed and they're your host, you have to call them and ask them to reactivate it for you.
That's the other half. If they're your host,
Right, but that's it.
Hmm.
So it's it's absolutely. Oh, so now we get to one of the other things that commercial litigators who work with actual clients on the front lines of actual commercial litigation
yeah,
do.
people who have actually done an intake.
Right, which is have some discussions about client control with your client in the client control sphere of things, right?
I'm just gonna be honest, Mike. When you said that one of his things was give me 8% of your gross income, or I'm going to go to this trade conference and disparage you. The words client control
Uh-huh.
went out the fucking window.
Well, yeah,
At that
okay,
point, you're
that
not. It's not client control at that point. It's client observation. You're
yes.
just watching them do this shit.
Yes, so guess what Neil then went on to observe his client doing?
Oh, what?
Well, so remember when I said that WordPress.org was the website for the foundation?
Yeah, yeah.
According to Matt, it's not. He never actually turned it over to the foundation. He personally owns it and everything that's on it and has sole authority to control it.
Mm-hmm.
So he revoked the access to that site for everybody affiliated with WP Engine.
Wow.
After litigation had been initiated.
Oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. You can't do that.
Right?
Like, you're not allowed to take your ball and go home while the courts are figuring out whose ball it is.
But we're not done yet. He also put a checkbox, a check the box thing on the website that everybody had to check to access it. If you wanted to get access to the WordPress.org website, you had to tick a box saying you weren't affiliated with WP Engine in any way.
And when did this happen? Because the question I have to ask is, I don't remember ticking any fucking boxes.
No, it happened before it happened in the period between the complaint and the hearing on the preliminary injunction.
Which was when?
End of November, beginning of December.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
keep going.
somewhere in that range. So he did replace that eventually. By the way, after the court told him to change it, this was one area where they did finally get some client control over him because it did go away eventually. But when I'll jump ahead. Spoiler alert: a preliminary injunction is in place. Does that come as a shocker?
Actually, no, not at fucking all.
I didn't think so.
Absolutely not one bit.
Absolutely. So when they told him to knock that off, he changed the checkbox before he got rid of it.
What, he changed it to a captcha?
No, he changed it to a checkbox where you had to check to confirm that pineapple is a good topping for pizza.
Oh my god, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I was wondering why the fuck that was on that website.
That's why it was on that website.
Oh, wow.
Right?
I just thought it was somebody who was really far behind on fucking meme culture.
Well, yes, but...
I was like, I'm out of touch with the things the kids do. I don't have the Riz, I guess. But the pineapple on pizza checkbox seems a little over the top. And now you're telling me this was a litigation thing.
Yes. Yes, he was doing that to tell the court what he thought of them.
Oh. That always works out well.
You want another fun one? Guess where Matt
we
met...
have different definitions of fun, but go right ahead.
Guess how Matt met his lawyer? The most expensive lawyer in the country.
At this point, I am going to assume they were combining their tickets at Dave & Buster's to get the good prize.
You're not far off. They met at Burning Man.
Oh my god. The Dave & Buster's on acid.
Yes.
The billionaire drug user Dave & Buster's. God.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So there was a preliminary injunction hearing. And I am undoubtedly going to forget stuff because this has been an endless stream of stupid. But so they go to a preliminary injunction hearing, and the judge is just like, what the hell? Ultimately, the judge, in fact, imposes a preliminary injunction based on... Oh, I forgot about stealing the monetized plugin. That's right. Totally forgot about that. That happened between
You can't just keep slipping those things in.
So, backtrack a little bit. There was about a 3-week gap between conclusion of briefing on the preliminary injunction and the hearing on the preliminary injunction. During that time period, in a continued escalation of their ongoing nuclear war against WP Engine, WP Engine is the company that created and maintains the Advanced Custom Fields plugin which is one of the most widely used plugins, I've been told. Um, so Matt used his control of WordPress.org to steal it.
Oh.
As in, he first he publicly announced that there was a security vulnerability. Secure custom field, sorry. No, I thought. Oh yeah, secure custom fields was what he renamed it. I think, Robert. It started as advanced custom fields, if I remember right, ACF. So he announced that there was a vulnerability. Gave them like a week instead of the usual like 30 days. Then publicly announced what it was. Then publicly announced. That because they had not adequately fixed the security thing that he had already told the entire public about, to protect the community, he was taking over that plugin. Nominally, he said he was forking it, but somehow or another, oh yeah, they were locked out of the tools to fix it that week. Forgot that. Good pointer, Callie. He took over the free version of the plugin, forked it, but he forked it in a way where his side of the fork kept all of the reviews and download counts of the original.
Of the original.
Yep.
So he actually stole the business goodwill.
Yeah, and he, remember when I said that there were all those hard-coded references to WP.org? WordPress.org, I mean? So he basically auto-updated all of their customers to his new version of the plugin.
Okay, so yeah, that's a business asset.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we've moved wholesale from trademark disputes to actual theft of business assets at this point.
Yeah, and that was before he also forked off their paid version of the plugin and made it available for free. I think I killed him.
I mean, look, I had a case once where a car dealership and the old parts guys were fighting because the old parts guys started their own business, so the car dealership stole their identities on car forums to sell parts from their place.
Okay, but I mean, we're talking about a part of Pennsylvania that's not far from New Jersey, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. That's like we're lucky nobody ended up in a fucking ditch. But I mean, Mike, that involved a dispute. By the way, nothing more fun than having a hearing in front of a federal judge and having to say the words, "Your Honor, yes, it's true. My client may have pissed on their desk. However." This is wilder than the desk pissing parts guys. I want to be clear.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, the last one. Everything else, I'm kind of going, yeah, okay. This is tech shit. They got to go back and forth. Eventually, this guy's got to get his hands smacked well enough, or it'll settle out of court. Which, let's just be honest, about 90% of these things probably in favor of WP Engine at this point. But when you got to and switched over all the customer.
Yeah, that was an issue.
That's when because I did that law. I did commercial litigation. It was part of what I did.
Right.
I jokingly say I did shit law because I took anything that walked in the door, but I represented a lot of businesses in litigation matters, and that's property. That's not just information. Those are trade secrets. They're assets. You can't do that.
I mean, the fact that it's an open source thing complicates it a little bit, but yeah, that's a basic. Also, I forgot about the turtles.
As in have shells, walk slow, race a rabbit.
The ones that interfere with things.
I have driven in areas of the South where they have turtles large enough to burst a tire. So you're gonna have to be more specific.
All right, tortuous interference, Boozy.
Okay.
The whole time that he's been doing all of those other things,
yeah,
he was also actively trying to steal their entire customer base.
Yeah, that is tortuous interference. Yes.
And he was, how he was trying to do it? He was trying to do it really subtly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was
It'd be
trying.
the only fucking subtle thing he's done this far.
He was trying to subtly do it by telling everybody that the litigation and all of that was making WP Engine an unsafe place to do hosting, and making special offers, including to pay their cancellation fees.
Okay, yeah, that's just like textbook tortious interference.
Right?
Like you can't do that.
Right?
I mean, you can do that, obviously. You can't do that without repercussions.
Yeah. All right, chat, what else have I forgotten? Because I'm sure there's still something, but I'm running.
Yeah, like,
Right.
At which point did they did he
Oh,
walk in
right.
and shoot someone's grandmother? What?
Well, he also had a whole website that was keeping a running tally of folks that had moved off of WP Engine.
This isn't even a business dispute anymore. This is just a pissing contest.
I mean, but he's the only one who's been pissing the whole time.
Yeah, I had that case. I explained it.
Yes,
to you.
all right, fair. But yeah, no. But also that website was tracking people apparently using stuff in the software, so it was also effectively doxing out things like people's sandbox installs.
All right, so I'm gonna go switch my website over.
Drew, yeah, so as a contact management system, I've got a funny feeling that we are no more than a few months away from, in addition to WordPress, there being Letter Smash.
Letter Smash.
You know, Print Stomp. And several other things, because I got a feeling that WordPress is about to suffer a very hard fork.
Phrase battery.
Yes.
That's the next one.
Phrase battery, I love it. Letter Smash is an actual fork apparently now, okay.
No shit.
And it's become the front runner.
No shit.
Yes. And yeah, every bit of this except for the pizza was before the preliminary injunction. Yeah. So,
You know, the sad thing is, Mike, is I am so technologically inept, I'm still not going to fucking change what I use for the website because I don't want to learn something else.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel on that one. I really know exactly how you feel on that one. So, where we're at right now is Queen Emanuel is litigating this under their usual theory of litigation, which seems to be...
Yeah, I was about to swear to Anthony actually just came up and said in the chat, and I was about to say the CFAA.
They raised...
got to be in there.
That's in there. The theory's a little interesting. I think it's a non-frivolous one, but not a great one. But Hogan Lovells does have, to their credit, they've found a couple of trial litigators to back up the most highly paid lawyer in the country. Those lawyers really credit where due. She was honest in front of the judge.
But that's a good thing.
Yeah. That puts her ahead of opposing counsel I've had.
Oh, definitely. The shit I do now, these guys lie all day long.
The preliminary injunction hearing was great. The judge was like, at one point, because here's one of the other things there is that in addition to everything else, Queen Emanuel has decided that the way to litigate this case is to go with their typical, if we don't lose at least one or two claims on motion to dismiss, we haven't pled aggressively enough approach.
Oh yeah, the you put it in and you assume they're gonna kick some of them.
Right, that one. So Hogan had decided to fight on every front, including whether or not they should be required to bond the preliminary injunction. Bear in mind that all they were asking for on the preliminary injunction was to literally go back to the way that everything was beforehand, where nobody had been charged for anything for 10 years. So, first, WordPress asks that Matt asks that this be bonded basically to make them pay for the entire cost of upkeep for the site for however long it took. And as part of the thing, also noted that WP Engine was behind in paying invoices. Yeah, like $800,000 worth of invoices or something.
That does not justify anything unless you have
Well,
you know.
especially since they didn't issue any invoice until the dispute started.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Really?
Really? Really?
I love that. I love that. I love that. I have seen that more than once
Mm-hmm.
where somebody bills the second the lawsuit's filed.
That was the tactic that let me know that, in fact, yes, Neil is definitely involved in the day-to-day of this litigation.
I mean, but
Because no way does no way does a Hogan trial lawyer do that.
yeah, yeah, no, because I mean that's textbook.
Mm-hmm.
That's textbook. You can't build your claim after the date of filing.
Right. I mean, that's one of those where I can see how an appellate lawyer who's, has a limited number of pages and a limited number of minutes of time to argue might think that's a cute thing to throw in there.
Right.
The actual lawyer who's got to stand up in front of the judge is like, are you going to try to why don't you just shoot me? And sure enough, yeah.
This is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It's the greatest hits of how not to fucking do this.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, credit where due when Hogan's lawyer, the judge looks at Hogan's lawyer and was like, and were any of these invoices issued before this dispute? She was just like, no, Your Honor.
Yeah.
You
can't bill for something that you weren't billing for it previously. All right, and that you hadn't even. I no lie, same issue.
Right.
And one of the ones I handled was the client issued invoices after the date of filing, and they thought it was absurd. I wouldn't make the argument for it until I said, yeah, but do you have anything that indicates you were ever going to fucking bill them until the lawsuit was filed? Because I'm not making that argument. Somebody else may. You can go off to another attorney. You're not getting your retainer back. Just telling you, that's gone. But
remind me to have a talk with you when it's just the two of you about something related to something like that sometime. Yeah. But yeah. Because I'm trying to suppress laughter for reasons that are unrelated to this particular case. Clients, man.
And you know what? I only have one. I have one fucking client. It's amazing.
So I hear.
I get to go home at a reasonable hour. Opposing counsel calls me at 6 p.m. and they get a voicemail that says, I will be back in the office at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Awesomeness.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, Chad, if you haven't figured it out, I think Boozy and I have been doing this for better than a half hour now, so this is the stream today. We'll do the response on the motion to dismiss next time. Because also, my brain is still fried from being in Tokyo and Kyoto for like a week, 10 days, something like that. But we're still not totally done, though. He's also kicked a whole lot of other people off he also kicked a whole bunch of other people off the island. Because they're going to fork WordPress.
Oh.
Yeah, he did that, like, while I was in Japan, I think. Or right before I left. Yeah, he banned 5, like, leading lights of the WordPress community from WordPress.org.
No, then obviously he didn't, because I still have access, and as we all know.
Well, 2 of them were apparently prior lights, because Wolfwings is pointing out that, like, 2 of them haven't touched the project for a decade and weren't totally aware that they still had accounts until he publicly canceled them. Oh, right, we didn't cover the holiday break either.
The holiday break?
Yeah, the holiday break. Apparently, after never even telling anybody about the tremendous imposition of personal responsibility that running the entire website was placing on him, Matt decided, after everything started and all that, that really personally running this whole huge website has been a huge issue, and a huge stress on him. Especially the part where court's making him do parts of it for free, instead of, the parts that he'd always been doing for free and stuff. The court is unjustly making him do things for free for one of his competitors.
I mean, well, maybe don't fuck their shit up, and you won't have to mitigate the harm. That's
Yes. Also, as Zach just pointed out in the chat, his company, which has been providing most of this, because by the way, um, it now turns out that there is effectively no distinction between Matt personally, Matt's company, Automatic, or the WordPress Foundation.
oh yeah, I expected that was coming.
Apparently, until all this, they recently were devalued, but before all of this, his company was valued at about $7 billion.
Wow.
So he was really, oh yeah. So the other thing is that he was posting through all of this,
Of course.
or that's one of the other things.
Look, Mike, you know as well as I do,
Mm-hmm.
from both legal experience for both of us, and for me from the furry community, people don't know when to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
There's a reason I call defendants.
Yeah.
It's because they don't know when to shut the fuck up. Their lawyer will be sitting there flagging them down as they admit to shit on the stand. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, no, he posted. Oh yeah, some of the stuff was like some of the tortuous interference. I forgot to mention. You know your admin panel. He did some of the tortuous interfering by pushing messages through the admin panel.
You see, I don't even look at the fucking.
I mean, that's fair, but still.
Mike, I've dedicated myself to the concept that I'm going to find somebody and just pay them to redesign the fucking site because I can't figure it the fuck out. So.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. I'm looking to stand a blog back up again myself, and I need plug and play, man. I don't know about you. I need plug and play.
Somebody said, "Oh, you even made the site look like it did back." That was quite literally. I can't figure out how to fucking use it, so I just used the one I knew.
That feels about right. That feels very familiar. I can just about figure out BlogPress still.
Yeah, look. I come from the world of LiveJournal.
Yeah.
I don't have it. There's no GIF of a toaster. Where's the GIF of the toaster?
Maybe we can get Ra to do something for us. Although that actually frightens me more.
I know a lot of people who are more than willing to set up the website for me. I just don't trust any of them.
Yeah, there is that issue also. So yeah, he was pushing those through the admin panel. But then the holiday break. So he pushed out a very pissy message.
As one does.
As one does, right before Christmas, saying that he was putting WordPress.org's new signups on a holiday break unless you're affiliated with WP Engine because the court gives him no choice with them. Right?
So essentially, he's now trying to shut everybody else out of the marketplace.
Well, it could be that, but mostly I think he was trying to give the middle finger to the judge again.
That's just, I cannot stress how bad of an idea that is.
Right?
I got stories, man. I went to go work for the state. I got stories.
Oh, apparently he stayed up on Christmas Eve to snark at people on Reddit. I wasn't aware of that because I was in document production hell from Christmas to New Year's.
Yeah, you know where I was from Christmas to New Year's?
On vacation?
No, on my couch.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
how's your hip doing?
Oh, it's amazing. Mike, I have a handicap placard, and I don't fucking use it anymore because I don't need to anymore unless I can't find parking.
Very nice. Very nice. Also, you realize you just said that on a recorded stream, right?
I mean, I'm authorized to use it.
Oh, that's fair.
I have the medical authorization to use it for the next 5 years. My primary care has actually said I should not be walking too far with my briefcase and carrying things. But,
Okay, fair.
I just don't use it that
Okay.
much anymore. It's not like I have to park 5 miles away from the courthouse, except in Philly.
Right.
Fuck Philly. I fucking hate parking in Philly.
Man, come out here sometime, man.
Look, Mike, I don't think I haven't been on your stream since before I bought the truck. I drive a big ass truck now, and here's the problem with Philadelphia. Philadelphia's been around for about 300 fucking years,
Yeah,
and the parking garages, yeah, not built for a big ass fucking truck.
we haven't been around for that long. Most of our look, I drive a car that's about as big a vehicle as I am comfortable driving in Honolulu. You know what I drive?
Is it one of those cars that does not have a top?
No,
Not
that's
a
been tempting.
not a convertible.
That'd be
It's
tempting.
Like,
No. I got an Outback. An Outback
a
is
Subaru Outback.
that's about as big a vehicle as you really want to be driving out here.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm thinking about getting one of those little Japanese trucks.
Yeah, yeah. Are you looking at the Isuzu? Do they even make the Isuzu still?
They do. You can't get them in the U.S., but the 4x4 key trucks.
Oh,
trucks.
yeah, one of the tiny boys.
Yeah. So there's a dealership out here. So the thing is, you can't import those to the U.S. new.
Right.
Because they
Yeah,
don't meet safety
the one that-
standards.
Chicken trucks or something, yeah.
Yeah. But there's a loophole. Vehicles that are over, I think it's 10 years, it might be 20. Pretty sure it's just 10. They're antiques. They don't have to meet safety standards.
Ah, yeah, that's right. I'm aware of that now.
So that's right, I figured you would be. 25, I don't think it's, but yeah. So there's a dealership out here that buys the old ones, rehabs them, and imports them. It's a spin-off for a couple of guys who run a couple of maintenance yards. Run a couple of maintenance yards out in Japan. So they buy them, they do rebuilds, and they package them out here. So you see them out here all the time, trucks and vans both.
That is neat.
Yep. So
There's some guy who lives around me that has one of those tiny trucks, and the only reason I am aware of it is I pass him on the way home just about every fucking day.
yeah, because he's going about 18 miles an hour because they don't do too much more than that on those little bottle caps that are wheels. But still, for out here, it's pretty much perfect.
Well, yeah, I mean, what the hell do you all have to haul?
Well, I mean that, but the truck bed on those things is actually about the size of the truck bed on a soccer truck.
Yeah.
Give or take a couple inches.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we got tons of them out here. But anyway, so Matt suspends stuff for everybody except for the people he's got to provide it to under the injunction. Apparently that's been lifted, but he's still, going on very pissy rants in public all the time.
Well, of course, because he doesn't like being told what to do.
Oh, he very much doesn't like being told what to do. So anyway, there is now an on-the-record finding that, would it shock you if I told you that the judge basically was like, okay, you know what? The plaintiffs are likely to succeed on this tortious interference claim, so I'm just not going to worry about likelihood of success on the merits or anything else.
That doesn't shock me at all at this point.
Yep, nice and simple.
Yeah.
Boozy, what do you think the odds are, just on the facts as stated so far, of them prevailing on a likelihood of success on the merits or providing on the claim in full on tortious interference claim?
I think they're pretty good at this point. For a while, I was kind of going, no, because you got to be targeting it. It has to be a contractual relationship that's underway. And then the more you talked.
Well, the more I talked was really just relaying the more he talked.
Yeah, the more you talked, the more I went, oh, okay, no, that's exactly what it's for.
Right?
Like, because it's not just you lured people away from a competitor, it's you convinced them not to contract with your competitor when they would have done so.
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely. So anyway, that's the thing. And for those of you who are here for the tech content, I think that's the tech content this week because, honestly, I've now made the litigation disaster tourism hour to the hour mark. And when I thought I was going to have to cancel next week for travel for depositions, that's not happening. But it's pretty good.
That's a fun one.
Yeah. Does anybody have questions? Because I just realized I want to get going so I can tell Boozy a story after I turn off things for the rest of you. Because there are some things that lawyers will tell other lawyers that they don't necessarily want to scream in public.
We definitely are not telling you all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So no, I will be here next week, which will give us a chance. I mean, we've got. There's still, there's still time before the reply comes in. Oh, also somebody who is apparently affected by, but not actually covered by the preliminary injunctions, trying to move for contempt as an intervener. So the case is already becoming a
shit show. I love that.
Yeah, it's a thoroughgoing one, man.
I like a good shit show. Well,
so
I'll tell you, I've got something for my new job. It's not a new job. I've been there 3 years now. I deal with the public on a pretty regular basis now. There's several different types of it. One of my big things is stuff I do 2-3 times a month on these cattle call trials. Bench trials, and all of those are with the public. Like, I am facing members of the public, and you know how much patience I have. I'm sitting there, and we have an extremely difficult judge in the county I got assigned. That's why they assigned me that county. And some people came in, and they're sitting there, and it's a husband and wife. And I walked over. The wife was the petitioner, and I said, who is this with you? And it's, well, I am her counsel. Oh, okay. Are you a lawyer? I am her husband, and I am her counsel. Okay, that's not what I asked you, sir. Are you a lawyer?
Isn't it amazing how quickly you learn to pick up on things like that?
Well, what I love is he goes, well, I can represent her. Okay, are you a member of the Pennsylvania Bar? I don't have to be to address this matter. All right. Well, I'm just going to let you know what the Commonwealth's position is going to be when you come up. Is I am going to immediately ask the judge to have you identify yourself, and then I'm going to object to you saying another word. So they get up there, and he sits down. Judge, who, like I said, this is a difficult judge. Very pleasant judge. Like, off the bench, very, very pleasant judge. On the bench, likes me.
Yeah.
Hates my client. Hates my client with a passion.
So your judge is a Pennsylvanian.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here, and I've got my law clerk with me. It was before he passed the bar. He's sitting there with me in here because they wanted to see how to handle a difficult judge. And they sit down, and I say, Your Honor, before we begin, could he identify himself? And she goes, Sir, could you identify yourself? And he stands up and says, I am her counsel. And she goes, okay, what is your bar ID? And he goes, well, I don't have to be licensed by the bar. I said, Your Honor, I'm going to object now. There's a case. It's called Spirit of the Avenger Ministries. And it's essentially, if you're not a lawyer, you can't say anything. It's just how it is.
Why am I not surprised that Holden goes with that case name?
Yeah, and I'm just going to be... I could just say that. I don't have to cite the case anytime, but I love to because I love saying, Your Honor, according to Spirit of the Avenger Ministry.
Yes.
So the judge looks at him and goes, okay, sir, I'm going to grant this. Mr. Table's correct. You're not an attorney. You can't represent your wife in this matter. And he stands up, pulls the car keys out of his pocket, waves them in the air, and says, Your Honor, this case is about the constitutional right of a free man to travel.
Yipper!
And the judge goes, oh, the constitutional right to travel. Well, sir, have a seat. I leaned back. I looked at the law clerk and I said, watch this shit. And, I mean, this keeps going. He keeps breaking in. She's telling him to be quiet. He keeps breaking in. She's telling him to be quiet. I object a few times today because they're doing all this. And you know what this is about? An unpaid toll.
Yeah, I figured.
They had $250 of unpaid tolls, so their car registration got suspended. All they had to do was call the turnpike, get onto a payment plan, and I'd have gone, Your Honor, we got no reason to be here anymore.
Yeah.
We're done. So
Yep.
they're sitting here, and she's quiet the whole time. He's rambling on and on and on and on. And at some point, the judge picks up the rules of civil procedure, shakes it in the air, and says, "Sir, do you see this book? This is the law. Mr. Badger and I know this book. Do you know this book, sir?" At which point, he looks this judge in the eye and says to her, "Your Honor, she is my property and I can speak for her." And I lean back, look at the law clerk, and go, "Now watch this shit." At one point, I object, and he says, "I want to see his power of attorney or letter of mark." To which my response is, "Your Honor, I have not been licensed as a privateer. However, my bar ID is..." This continues for a good 10 minutes. She lets her, and finally she says, "If you say another word, I'm going to have you held in contempt." And he can't help himself. He goes, "Your Honor, I would like to serve upon the court and counsel in order to show cause under the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights." At which point, he walks out from behind the table and starts to walk up to the bench without warning, reaching into the bag he has brought with him.
Oh.
So after the elderly Marine, who's the court crier, had tackled him, long story short, I mean, I hung around. I came back to watch the contempt hearing later in the day. And she obviously, you know what it is. She yelled at him and said, "Now leave." But after that happened, his wife starts to arguing the case. Finally, I say, "Your Honor, this is really, really simple. Yeah, it's a question of unpaid tolls. If they haven't paid them, we get to suspend the reg." And she goes, "Well, I have a document I'd like to hand up." And she starts to hand it up at this point. Now she has, after watching the man who she is the property of apparently get tackled by an elderly man, she has learned that you should probably say, "Can I hand this up first?" Judge looks at her and says, "Ma'am, you need to show that to Mr. Badger." And she hands it over to me, and I look at it, and this is what I mean when I say judge hates my client, likes me, okay? Because the judge looks at me and goes, "John," and you know you're in good with a judge,
right?
When they're using your first name. Goes, "John, is that proof that they have paid tolls?" And I say, "Your Honor, I'm not exactly sure what this is." There's something in here about the Commercial Code and the Geneva Convention. I don't know what I'm looking at. At which point she goes, "Well, that's not coming into evidence." and says, "You can hand it back to her." And I go, "I'd like to keep it, actually." And I'd like to take this back to the office and pass it around. We have a contest, Your Honor.
Oh my God.
I still don't know if their car registration has ever been reinstated. I have no idea.
That sounds about right.
But that's half of the other half of my job, or that's not facing members of the general public, is multi-million-dollar cases. That's different, buddy.
Yeah.
I have these high-powered attorneys from fucking Philly and DC and New York on these cases calling me, and they go, "Oh, you were in court. Was it a big matter?" I'm like, "Nah, it was a drunk driver. I was taking some drunk's driver's license. It's fine."
Beautiful.
But just the whiplash between.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Amazing. All right.
I hope your listeners were entertained.
Oh, the listeners are always entertained, Boozy, but that was particularly entertaining. But I'm going to let them entertain themselves now because I really got to tell you this one, man. I've been.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to another edition of Litigation Disaster Tourism Hour. Kapua will say hi at the start of the next stream. Oh, no, she's coming to say hi. Wait, dog, you got to say hi. Come here, doggo. Say hi to the people in the little box. There we go. Good doggo. Yeah, that's a good girl. They're up there. Good, good. Okay, everybody. Mike, still a lawyer, still not your lawyer, but we will catch you next time on the Litigation Disaster Tourism Hour, same time next week. Till then, mahalo for watching, and aloha.